In this tutorial, I'll show you how to move a cube without a single line of code in Armory 3D. I was not going to continue to produce Armory 3D video tutorials until the slowness issue is fixed, but I received a request from one of our visitors to continue posting Armory 3D tutorials. I said I would, so here it is. I'll continue to post Armory 3D tutorials from now on. I will cover various topics, such as how to fully utilize Armory 3D's just amazing, and mesmerizing world-class codeless game development feature. I'll teach you how to move your Blender mesh with your keyboard. I'll teach you how to influence your Blender mesh, so that it gets affected by physics and rigidbody. I'll teach you how to make your Blender mesh jump at will. I'll teach you how to move your Blender mesh where you click your mouse. I'll teach you how to rotate your mesh at will. I'll teach you how to scale your mesh at will. I'll teach you how to make a jetpack with Armory 3D. I'll teach you how to utilize the use interface to show menus and scores. I'll teach you how to make a tank that moves with your keyboard, actively point the turret where your mouse pointer is, and let you choose whether to shoot out a high explosive round with enormous sound, or shoot a massive quad 20mm auto cannon that will shred anything in front of them to pieces. All without using a single line of code. I'll teach you how to make a full game using Armory 3D. I will show you the true power of Armory 3D. Yes, it's unfortunate that there's a slowness issue, when there are excessive amount of objects on the scene. I'm sure that issue is going to be addressed, and fixed by the developers in a near future. To tell you the truth, not all games have their scenes filled with moving objects bound by physics. We can build a limitless amount of superb games by only using a handful objects. Until that slowness issue is fixed, I'll show you how to make those tiny games. I'll share the blend file only when the logic nodes become super complex. Because I want you to learn and follow what I do by watching the tutorial to get to know this game engine better. So, out of so many things, why Codeless? Codeless, because I'm sure most of you are not aware of how to program a code for games. If you know how to program, I'm sure that was not Hexa, because that language is new. Because it takes a lot of time to learn those codes. Also, because Armory 3D has that superb codeless feature built in. By using the logic nodes in Armory 3D, we can build anything at a fraction of time and effort. I have extensively used both Unity and Unreal game engines node-based game development tools, but I have never seen anything like this. Armory 3D has a revolutionary feature for aspiring game developers who want to start making games on their own. Imagine all these people, I was one of them, of course, who learned how to program for more than 30 years, only find out the amount of time and efforts they've put in while learning all those computer languages were nothing but a complete waste. Because now we can do better than experienced programmers with logic nodes in Armory 3D. While working for various world's leading game publishing companies, I've seen so many cases where a full-scale next-generation console game developers pulling their hairs and get extremely hesitated, after finding if they fix a must-fix bug that was just found, that would create a total mess. Such as creating a chain reaction of bugs after bugs, or something is suddenly not found to be working after fixing that bug and they don't know why. In those cases, the project's leaders at the very top get involved, and eventually decide to drop that feature from that game for good. I'll show you why it's better to use the nodes than programming codes. Do you remember these lines of code from yesterday? This source code is from Armory 3D's Playground tutorial. So what does that package arm mean at the very top? I have no idea. What is an iron object? And why are there so many irons in the code? I'm sure if I start to dig up what they mean, I'll be able to learn what they are all about and why they were used in this code. But how many other commands are there? How are you going to memorize all those? Suppose one day, you turn into a walking Hexa programming language dictionary, would you know how to use those commands in games you wish to make? I doubt that, because I wouldn't know that either. This means if I get an input from an end user. If that user presses the F, as in Foxtrot, trigger this function. And that function is about spawning a cube that was named box. We're creating a new variable here to be used within this function block of codes. Alright, this is easy. I'm sure I can memorize all these lines, and one day I'll be able to program this code on my own. Because every game in the world is about pressing F key to generate a box, right? What's going to happen if I want to move that cube with my keyboard? How am I supposed to find what commands to use? How am I supposed to find answers to my problems when building a new block of sophisticated codes? That's the dilemma every programmer faces, and by using the logic nodes we can forget about that, for good. In the previous tutorial, I've taught you how to play the scene from Blender 2.8 after installing the Armory 3D add-on. And we've learned how to use the hexacode by adding our own code as the trait. I'll teach you how to place the Logic Node Editor tab at the top of the screen, because we need that. This is what I've done. I'm using a tab called Logic and that contains the split-screen Logic Editor. What I've done was creating a new shading window and turning it into the Logic Editor like this. Do this after creating a new blend file. After creating the Logic tab, go to File, Defaults and save Startup File, so the Logic Node tab will always be there when you open Blender. Let me show you how to move this cube easily. Click New. Let's change this node's name to Movement. Press Shift-A to add a new node. Type key and select keyboard like this. Let's change Started to Down. That means when we hold a key down. Let's pick A key, because we want it to move left, and we'll add a keyboard node for S, to move to right. Press Shift-A. Look for Translate Object. Connect keyboards out to translate objects in. Click Vector and add 1 to X. These vector columns represent X, Y, and Z. Let's add this logic node to the cube as a trait. Anyway, anyone who uses the trait is not a traitor while using the Armory 3D. Yes, that was a joke. Select nodes. Let's pick the movement node. This is very important. Probably the most important thing while using Armory 3D. Remember to use the clean button frequently. If something appears to be stuck, for example, you made a change and it's not working even after restarting Blender and Armory 3D. That's when you need to press this clean button. If not, the stuck state will persist. So, always remember to use this clean button. Let's press A. Yes, that worked, but the cube went where? The cube also ran faster than a programmer who received a bug report to fix. Let's reduce the speed to 0.1. Let's rotate the scene a bit as well. I'll demonstrate what would happen when we don't press the clean button after making a change. The cube is still running at a constant speed of 1. Let's try changing the speed even slower, and run it again without pressing the clean button. Still broken. Let's duplicate these nodes and create one for moving right. We'll use the S key for now. The vector should be -0.05. Always save the file with Ctrl+S before playing as well. Let's clean it and play the game. Very nice. Now the game is working perfectly. Let's duplicate the nodes and create up and down nodes. Let's try again. Perfect. How easy was that? If we had to use a programming code, we would be still learning what an iron means in hexa. Amazingly smooth. And yes, this is a Blender 2.8 scene file. If we had to use another 3D game engine, it would have taken us much more time and effort to recreate what we've just created. Let me show you how to add physics. What we need to do is assigning a rigid body to our cube and create a new plane with a deactivated rigid body to serve as the ground. Let's change the collision's shape to box. Let's use the clean button and play. Check this out. Nice. This is the end of Codeless movement tutorial in Armory 3D. Please like and subscribe if you have enjoyed watching this tutorial. Thank you for watching.